Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
to Wealth Wednesday, where we want you to have wealth with your relationships and wealth with your money. And we are super excited to be with you today. That's right. Wednesday it is, right, honey?
Wednesday it is. And
That's
this
right.
month is kind of exciting because we're really going to be diving into the relationship side of things, and especially where a lot of tension comes in from
right.
things like financial infidelity and
Yep.
some of those. So this whole month we're going to be diving into the subjects that really affect a lot of us and really have some pretty insane consequences.
Right. We love feedback. We love thumbs up. We love questions. Please dive in. Let's get going and let's really get your love and your money working together for you today. We're actually recording here live from Colorado Springs in our new offices. They're not quite put together yet,
We're getting
are they?
there. We're getting there now.
That's right. Got a Keurig machine out there, and we need to put together a whole bunch of different things. But we're really excited to you today. And you know what? It's really interesting talking about this whole area of money and if your money should be together or not, and how much money impacts relationships. It's interesting. This was a Facebook post that we did actually this week. This is such an interesting chart, isn't it? It said, here's a sobering chart. This was on our Facebook page. Hey, like us on Facebook if you haven't already. It shows money issues as the leading cause of relationship strain, even worse than having an affair.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's this little chart here, and it says money worries are 62% of the people said that money worries were their worst cause for relationship strain.
It's interesting because working long hours was right under money worries, and then under that was extramarital affairs at 36%. So money worries are almost twice as bad in your relationship as extramarital affairs. Isn't that, it's just insane. So today what we want to do is we want to talk about some of the huge causes of
one main one.
Yeah, one main one of financial infidelity, and that is financial separation. Often so many of us think that if we just keep our money separate, that if you do your thing and I do my thing, then we won't step on each other's toes and it'll be bliss and you have your money and I have my money. But we found that is some of the worst decision making that a couple can do, is to say, hey, we're going to have financial separation.
That's right. But let's start with just some examples of what financial separation is, because not everybody knows exactly what that means. Maybe an example is you have your credit card and I have my credit card, or you have your bank account and I have my bank account, or you have your retirement and I have my retirement.
Or maybe I have life insurance on myself. I've seen this, believe it or not, but the beneficiaries are the kids. It's not you.
Right.
Or
no life insurance because you've got to take care of yourself and I've got to take care of myself. That can happen too.
The whole spending thing where you have your money, I have my money, and you can't tell me how I'm going to spend and I won't tell you how you're going to spend, but we're just going to keep it totally different.
Right. Maybe one pays the mortgage and the other one pays the medical bills. And it's just all very, very separate. And we know what's so amazing with keeping accounts and things like this separate is that it really allows for mistrust to come into the relationship, because you're going to do your thing and I'm going to do my thing. Also, jealousy? Jealousy.
So this is a big one, and we get this question from couples a lot that are into this financial separation, is what if one is making more money than the other?
Right.
So a lot of times in relationships, people just say, well, we're going to just split it right down the middle, but one person's making $150,000 and the other person is making $60,000, and yet that person is going to be in charge of half the bills. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And I think a lot of time people do that based on past mistakes. That, hey, maybe I was paying all the bills and I messed up, but now the person says, hey, you can't be trusted with that, so you pay half and I'll pay half, and then we'll just keep our money separate. It doesn't work. It's really kind of like having separate date nights. So let's say you go out for a romantic evening, and the romantic evening is you go to your movie and dinner of choice, I'll go to my movie and dinner of choice, and then we'll meet back together 3 or 4 hours from now. It's ridiculous, right? That's not a date.
Right.
And so, but that's how so often we treat our money, is if we're having separate date lives.
And now what also is so interesting is because money impacts our relationship every day. Every day. Do you make big financial decisions every day about your 401k and about your life insurance and all that? No, but you make small everyday money decisions. Like, for example, going to get gas, which is kind of funny.
I made the biggest.
Tell them. It's so funny.
So we just moved in these new offices, and clients are coming in, and we're doing a ton of money, a couple great opportunity stuff. It's just been crazy. So I get to the gas station, and I put the, pay for it, and it's pumping away, and I get done, and I was like, holy smokes, last week when I filled this up, it was like $55. I drive a Chevy Tahoe, and now it's $72. Like, has gas gone up that much in the last week? Well, no, it's that I had touched the premium. I'm just a regular unleaded guy. I drive a Chevy for a reason. I am not a premium gas guy. I was like, I just blew $20, but
that was a money decision, and I didn't purposefully.
Bad money decision.
That's right, exactly. But you know what? Money impacts us just about every day. Today I got a thing in my emails about the yearbook for our kids and how if you buy it now, it's going to be $5 cheaper. There's just money decisions every single day. So if you treat your money totally separate and you don't know what's going on inside of the money accounts, it is like having separate date nights. It doesn't give you the opportunity to have unity and love inside of your relationship.
Or even make some very key decisions together.
Yes.
And we see this a lot in second marriages too, where it's actually probably more prevalent in second marriages where you're maybe bringing stepkids in, or your kids are coming into a new relationship, because keeping the money separate kind of makes sense based on child support. And here's the reality. We're not saying separate accounts are the end of the world. We're not saying credit cards are the end of the world if you have your credit card and they have their credit card. But what do you have to do to fix it? What do you have to do to get to a point where that isn't tearing your relationships? And it's called transparency. It's called, hey, I have my own checking account and you have your own checking account, which a lot of business owners do. But guess what? Each of you has to be able to look into the other person's checking account lives. Same with credit cards. You're spending what and I'm spending what. It doesn't mean that you have to stop spending. It doesn't mean that you have to give up that MasterCard that you've had since you were 18 and in college. What it does mean is that the other person has to have the ability to have total transparency and have some conversations about what that looks like.
Right. Again, it's on the practical side, it may be more practical for you to have two checking accounts inside of your relationship. But what's absolutely key, and so jealousy doesn't come in, so mistrust doesn't come in, is that 100% transparency. We cannot stress that enough. Without money transparency, if you don't have that, again, so much opportunity for mistrust and arguments and so on and so forth. And we don't want that. We don't want money strife inside of your relationship. We want a trusting relationship. And money is such an indicator as to how that trust is doing in your relationship. If you have a spouse who doesn't want you to have access to the accounts, there's a problem there. There's mistrust there. You can't say you don't trust that you trust them if they're not willing to show you the money. Same thing on the opposite side is it will bring you so much together if you do have it. So again, the separate checking accounts is not the problem. The problem is, are you having 100% transparency as to what's going on? Now, it looks different for each couple. Maybe you are a kind of couple where you have these accounts and one pays the mortgage, one pays the medical. But as long as it's transparency, as long as it's transparent to each other as to what you're doing. Also, too, if you are in a second marriage, that there's a lot of opportunity for mistrust and jealousy, especially in second marriages.
Absolutely.
So being very upfront, very honest, what you're spending, what's being saved, who it's being saved for. This financial separation, it is tearing relationships apart, and we've got to stop. We've got to stop.
So separate accounts, don't do them.
No, that's right.
Actually, you can do them if you have that key of transparency.
That's right.
And one thing that I'll encourage is it's really scary to step back sometimes, because we're just going in life and we're just going 1,000 miles an hour.
Right.
And we get that more than anyone. But occasionally you just have to step back and say, what's working in this relationship and what's not working in this relationship? And 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, when you're not just being crystal clear and transparent with the money in your relationship, even if it feels like it's working right now, you will hit a speed bump. You will hit a wall, and there's going to be plenty of rooms for mistrust, and it can be a relationship killer.
So what do you do if you have financial separation right now and you're going, you know what, there's some mistrust going on, I don't like it, it doesn't feel good. How do you approach your spouse to say, I don't want financial separation anymore? How do you do that? And here's just a little suggestion. We just suggest that you talk to your spouse or the person that you're in a serious relationship with, and you do combine your monies, and say, you know what, because money impacts everything in our relationship every day, what I would really like to do is sit down and talk about our expenses, talk about our savings, talk about how we can get in a financial path together. I think, honey, that's going to really bring our relationship together instead of separating us out apart. And you probably married your money opposite. Most of us do. Be sure to know your money personalities. That's a very important start. Go to our website at themoneycouple.com and make sure you both know your money personalities. So when you do talk about it, you can have compassion for the other person in terms of how they spend and save money, because you understand what your money personality combinations are. And then you can satisfy each of you. Let's say one is more like a saver security seeker. That person's going to need to have, these kind of accounts. And then let's say you have a spender risk taker in the relationship. Then you're going to want to make sure that you have accounts that are appropriate for that person as well. We give all these kind of tips inside of our new program, Money You. Go to our website at themoneycouple.com. It's a brand new program, but lots and lots of tips on how to work through all of this on there. We cannot stress how important it is to take this part of your life and make it the best, so your relationship can be great too.
Absolutely. And the only one thing I want to add on to it is that when you go and talk to your significant other, because this can be a scary subject, you need to let them know this isn't about control. This isn't about control, this is about transparency. And that's one of the things that Beth and I talk and teach at Money You and all of our books on our money personality assessment, is the reason that we work so hard to help you understand why you look at money the way you do, and why the people that you're in a relationship with and love look at money so differently. It's not for you to be able to control the entire situation, but so that you can have some amazing conversations and have this awesome transparency. And financial infidelity does not have to hurt your relationship, and you do not have to be 62% of the top 10 causes of a relationship wrecker.
That's right. That's right. Well, it was great to be with you. We're going to be with you next week as well. Again, make any comments, suggestions, any tips that you have for people on how to stop financial separation. We'd love to hear from you as well. It's so great to be with you today. And as always, make it happen.